For number 7, it says state what information is needed to prove the triangles are congruent using the given method and provide the triangle congruent statement. So, if we look at 7a, we want to use angle, side, angle. It gives us one angle that's congruent between the two triangles. However, ST is shared between the triangle on the right and the triangle on the left. So ST is congruent to itself by the reflexive property. We want to use angle, side, angle. So that means that side needs to be in between two angles. So if this is the side, I already have, if I'm looking at this triangle here, I have a side with an angle right beside it. I need to have an angle on the other side as well so that my side is between those two angles. So the piece of information I'm missing is that angle needs to be congruent to, I'll have an angle, a side, the other angle needs to be on the other side of this side, so I've got that angle as well. So the piece of information that's missing is that angle UST is congruent to angle STG. UST is this angle right here, and STG. Then, by the way, there's a typo right here. This says SYU, but this should be STU. So triangle STU, and we need to make sure we line that up the same way. So if we started at S, the angle that corresponds to S in the other triangle is T, because they both have those two arcs. Then we went from S to T, which has one arc, so we went from T to S, which has one arc, and then to U, which has none, and G has none. Then for B, it says that we want to use hypotenuse leg. So we have a pair of vertical angles that weren't listed, but we know for sure if one of them is 90 degrees, that the other must be 90 degrees. So these are both right angles. It also tells me that KJ is congruent to BJ, so that means that those segments, we already have our legs that are congruent. Then from there, in order to use hypotenuse leg, we need a set of legs, which we have right here. Thank you. And the hypotenuses need to be congruent. The hypotenuse takes place across from the right angle. So I need to know that KL and BC are congruent. That is the missing piece of information because now I have my hypotenuses, my legs, and my right angles. So now I can say triangle JBC is congruent to triangle. Again, we need to line it up. If we started at J, that's the right angle. That's also the right angle of this triangle. So J, we went across 2 tick marks to B. So we'll go across 2 tick marks to K, and then across the hypotenuse to C, across the hypotenuse to L. So that's how we would write our congruent statements, and that's how we find the missing piece of information.